Fragrance you can wear every day. Normally I have hundreds of fragrances surrounding me, so I could just literally pick and like recommend stuff that I've personally worn and I know pretty thoroughly. But clearly, because I've been moving lately, I don't have many that's just in reach. And because I'm very OCD, I have an entire recording schedule. So today, I was supposed to record fragrances or Middle Eastern fragrances that you can wear every single day. And for obvious reasons, I can't do exactly that, which is a nightmare for someone with OCD. But what I will do is adapt, because we have to adapt to survive. So for today, we're gonna be talking about fragrances that I have in my reach that you could wear every single day. So let's just go ahead and start off with one that's right here. It's called Bohemian Lime by Goldfield & Banks. This is a citrus woody fragrance that's perfect for the summer, the spring, and even during the fall time. You could wear this every single day. Unfortunately, I got this little rinky-dink bottle, which I kind of wish that I had a bigger one. But this has unique note of finger lime. It just quite literally smells like finger. No, I mean lime. But it's got this very slightly green undertone to that lime accord, and it's got a beautiful balance and blend of cedarwood, sandalwood, and vetiver, along with coriander. So it does have this green and herbal nuance that's beautiful. It's perfectly blended and balanced with woods. If you're a person who likes citruses and woods, and we're not talking terre d'Hermès, then you should absolutely check this one out. I think that it's one of my top citrus woody fragrances in my collection that I honestly, even myself, don't give much attention to. And this is gonna be a good process for me, one that you guys can join me with in rediscovering fragrances or seeing fragrances that I haven't even talked about, probably. So Bohemian Lime has to be one of my favorite ones from Goldfield & Banks, even better than Silky Woods and Silky Woods Elixir, in my opinion. The opening is interesting, but the dry down is even more magical. That sandalwood and vetiver combo is next level. I love it. It's to die for. Moving on to the next one that you could wear every single day is called Jacques Fat Vetiver Gris, created by one of my favorite perfumers, Jean-Christophe Herald, and he's the one who created Aventus. This smells nothing like Aventus and nothing like anything else I've ever smelled before, and that's not very common in a world of fragrances that obviously and inevitably have to end up reminding you of something. This reminds me of nothing. This has hazelnut, some citruses, and then vetiver, and this is a fantastic, unusual, and very addicting ass fragrance. The fact of the matter is that I probably would have never smelled this fragrance if I didn't go to Aix-en-Provence, Italy, and I'm so glad that I did. One of their newest creations. It's got a similar hazelnut quality to something that I personally detect in Valentino Uomo without it going anywhere near that fragrance, just very specifically hazelnut. So the creation and the mindset that he had, I'm very interested and curious in actually dissecting this fragrance a little bit more. But I know that he was going for, and generally speaking, at least from the creations that we've discussed, he likes to go something with a little bit of a contrast or punch, and he absolutely achieved that with this. But honest to God, if you were to just put this aside from him, let's disassociate him, let's disassociate the brand and the name, this is so damn good. So different and extremely unique. And considering the fact that you can find this at Macy's for like 140 bucks, I think is just outstanding. So it's called Vetiver Gris by Jacques Fat. Also lasts pretty much the entire day, and you can wear it every day. The best seasons for this one, I would personally say, is going to be the spring, the fall, and then you can also get away with it during the winter and the summertime. And I should probably give you guys the amount of sprays, considering it's every day. During the cooler weather, I would spray this up to about 10 times, anywhere from 6 to 10 times, because it is pretty polarizing or contrasted. And then during the summertime, I wouldn't spray them more than about 6 to 7 times. No joke, pretty strong. And it is I believe it's a 25% concentration. So 25% is pretty damn strong. Moving on to the next one. Let's see here. Something you could wear every single day is Nishani's Hacivat. You definitely can rock this one. It's got blackcurrant, oak moss, and that's pretty much what I detect for the most part with this one. Aside from the other notes like jasmine, there's also cedarwood, patchouli, etc. What I mostly detect if I were to recreate or redraw the image, it's going to be some citruses like that bergamot and the pineapple with wet soil, literally like wet forest floor. It's the whole oak moss and the dry down along with woodsy notes that really recreates that. So although there are resemblances, which inevitably happens with woodsy fragrances that also have pineapple, it's just that like it's, for example, whenever I think cherry fragrances, a lot and more often than not, my mind goes straight up Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Similar case with pineapple scents. With this one, however, I do find it to be significantly different than Aventus. Pineapple and some of those citruses is not the star player here. It opens up with some of those citruses and it quickly and surely becomes this fragrance that has more of this wet oak moss, mossy forest floor style DNA, along with nuances of some of those citruses like the pineapple. Not freaking bad. The one thing I will say about this one though, is that I personally don't get much performance out of it. I never got more than about 6 to 7, maybe 8 hours tops. It's still technically considered above average, so it's not bad, but at this price point, my tolerance or my acceptance of lower performing fragrances is really low. But it does perform as it should, and in the mid to dry down is where my interest kind of just goes away. It just ends up smelling like wet moss. So I like it in the opening, I like it to the It doesn't like me, clearly. I like it in the opening, I like it to the mid, but the dry down is where this one loses me. It just ends up smelling like wet moss, basically. But you can absolutely wear this one every single day. And if I were to recommend the amount of sprays during the summer and the springtime, because of the oak mossy nature, you still don't want to go above like 12. It can come off, like off. Like it'll start smelling a little bit too camphorous, if you will. Musky and woodsy. Too much of that during the hot weather is not going to be good. During the winter into fall time, you should spray this one on anywhere from like 6 to 12 times still. This is one that when you layer on top and you keep spraying and spraying, it can compromise, and it does compromise the scent profile. I ended up going British there for a second. But anyways, back to Bohemian Lime. This one here, during the summertime, I'd spray it up to 14 times. And during the winter and fall, I would probably pick a different fragrance, but if I really wanted to, up to 14 times. It performs too, it's not a chump either. Moving on to the next one. This is definitely one you can wear every single day. It's called Roja Elysium. Elysium has to be the best fragrance he's ever created, and even to this day, it's aromatic, it's fresh, it's very carbonated, it's so sexy, man. Every man should have at least tried this. Maybe not add it to their collection, but at least try it. It does have an herbal nuance, or plenty of herbal nuances. That's the whole aromatic. So if you think of kitchen herbs, and not, I don't want to say spices, herbs more so, that's the reference of aromatic. So rosemary, thyme, etc. This one has those, except it doesn't smell anything like cooking, that's for damn sure. A lot of citruses as well, just enough spice to give this one a carbonated kick, and it ends up smelling like, to me, a Sprite remix. Like one of those Sprites back in the day. It was like flavored Sprite, you pop it open, you smell, you know, the can, it's fizzy. That's what this one reminds me of. You do have to enjoy a little bit more of like these herbal, aromatic, masculine style fresh scents, and it has more of a naturalistic approach than something like the typical freshies of like Sauvage, etc. I mean, this is in its own complete different lane, but in that sense, it doesn't translate into something as mass appealing, obviously, but it does have mass appealing factors to it while achieving something that still smells extremely high end and high class. The only issue with this one that a lot of people face or say they face is going to be the performance. Now with this, long story short, is this is a grown man luxury money freshie. This is the realm of fragrances that I love. Naturalistic, herbal, fresh, carbonated, very live. To address the longevity issue, or really not issue, spray it more. I've never sprayed this less than 8 times, period. During the summer and the springtime, I've sprayed it at least 8 to 15 times. I know for the price, it's kind of crazy, but still, I mean, all of the notes that's in this is kind of volatile, and if they increase any of the notes, it'll change and compromise the scent profile, because it's got things like vanilla, maybe even some other denser and thicker notes that if they up, it'll just completely change the scent. So spray it anywhere from minimum of 6 to 15 times. And during the winter time, you're probably better off going with another scent, but you can go up to 15, maybe even 18 times with this one. Inoffensive in my opinion, smells luxurious. I freaking love it. And for the price, it should smell luxurious. Next one is sitting here and looking at me in the face. It's called Velvet Infusion. Citruses, black tea, and woods. So sexy. Whenever I've traveled to the east, it's always smelled like this citrus and vetiver combination. Kind of reminded me of the whole Terre d'Hermes vibe, the water infused buckets that you'll go in and you'll see, and you can pour yourself a little bit of that juice. All of that in one smells like this. So you have that mandarin citrus, a couple of other citruses, some ambroxan, natural high dose of black tea, along with that cedarwood and vetiver. This to me reminds me of like Imagination meets Terre d'Hermes, 0-Intense vetiver, and I freaking love it. Whereas Imagination is more of like that luxury hotel soap because of some of those florals. This removes the soap vibe and just reminds me more so of that citrus infused water along with the hotel lobby. I freaking love it. And this will be my traveling scent moving forward and probably forever. You can wear this every single day, and it also performs in all seasons because it has a pretty high dose of ambroxan. Ambroxan, for the most part, too high of a dose can come off synthetic, but this maintains its naturalistic scent, which is phenomenal. Unisex, leading masculine for sure, but if you're looking for one of the best dailies, especially office, gym, school, literally everywhere, compliment factor, Velvet Infusion. If I were to spray this during the summertime, I'd go anywhere from 6 to about 12 sprays, and during the wintertime, anywhere from about 6 to 14 sprays. Next one, Lamar by Kajal. An outstanding pineapple and white florals. You can wear this every day, but to be honest with you guys, this can also be more elevated than just your typical daily, or if you want to smell elevated every single day. Summer, spring, and fall time, this is going to be magic and the best during the springtime. The reality of the matter is that for most fragrances, I would say about 80%, you can get away with every single day, depending on the weather, depending on how many sprays, etc. Some fragrances are definitely more reserved, that are like more smoky, intense, etc. for special occasions. And this one, although having factors that can allow you to wear it for special occasions and absolutely stand out, you can wear this as a daily during the spring and during the fall time. It wouldn't be my first choice. I'm working with limited quantities here, okay? So give me a break. But you can wear this every day if you absolutely wanted to. But I would urge urge you to kind of keep this one for special events or occasions. Regardless of the fact it's a beautiful scent of pineapple, watery style of white florals. It doesn't go too much in the indolic. It's not fatty, it's very juicy, and the keynote here, or the keyword that I said here, was watery. Very light, very diffusive, very delicate is the proper term that I would use for this one. In the opening, it's very live, it's vibrant, it's bright. It's also a little bit crisp, coming from some apple, red berries, a hint of spiced cardamom. The spice is like the last thing that I would ever think of. And then in the mid, it's going to be rose, and what's notoriously known for that delicacy, or the delicate white floral and slightly watery nuance, would be the magnolia. It also creates this very thin layer of what it smells like to me, of wax, basically, to the whole floral nuance of everything in this fragrance, giving it that delicacy and the overall refinement. And that's pretty much it. There is jasmine that gives it that whole white floral approach, but for the most part, the magnolia is dosed up pretty high enough to give it just enough of that waxy coating to take it away from going more so into the indolic and fatty thick realm, and keep it into that thin layer of a waxy realm. When it does dry down, there's like ambers, vanilla, etc., but for the most part, it's going to translate into this musky cashmerean and very soft and delicate scent profile overall. I think that's the best word to describe this one, is delicate and very unisex, opulent as well with this one. Next one, Roja's Burlington 1819. It's got a hefty ass price tag, but god man, this is absolutely phenomenal. It smells like a wine cooler, like yacht mood. Bro, if you have money, if you've got money and you're going on yacht vibes, you're going on boats, you're going on vacation during the summertime, or if you just want to make sure that you smell the absolute best, this is one of the best ones to do it with. It's got mint, citruses, lime, a lot of those aromatics that give it that naturalistic approach, similar to that of in Elysium, but this one takes it to the next level, bro. Ginger, rum, some cinnamon, benzoin, saffron. I mean, it's got a melody of notes, and the best way to describe this scent is just say freaking wine cooler. That's what it smells like to me. As it starts to dry down, it does warm up, get a little bit boozy and sexy. It's so appropriate for yacht vibes. Simple as that. You want a fragrance that's going to transition from something that's cool, crisp, refreshing into some kind of like date night style scent. This is one of the freaking best. Citrus, fresh, green, aromatic, spicy, a lot of accords, and a lot of money too. The best time to rock this one is going to be during the summer and the springtime, and if I were to rock it during the summer and spring, I'd spray it up to 8 to maybe 10 times, and in the winter and fall, I mean, there are better scents, but I would have to spray it at like 15, 16 times for me to get performance out of it. With Kajal's Lamar, or Lamar by Kajal, I keep doing that. During the summer and the springtime, I'd spray this on anywhere from 6 to about 12 maximum times, and during the winter time, I would either reach for something else or stick to about the same amount of sprays. 5 is the minimum for this one. Moving on to the final one on this list, it's gonna be Acqua di Parma Fico di Amalfi. My favorite one from the entire lineup. I actually just sprayed it on again right now. It's got this very prominent note of fig tree right from the opening all the way to the dry down. Considering it's a note in the base, it's pretty damn prominent. And more than likely is because it actually has the note of fig as well in the mid. So at the top, you get a blast of citruses, including grapefruit, bergamot. There's a very crisp style citron that's slightly metallic. And as it starts to dry down, and even from the top, you get this fig, juicy, fruity, watery nuance as well that has a pretty green and woodsy backbone that it's all riding on. The woodsy backbone coming from obviously the fig tree and that cedar wood, and it does have a softer white, slightly indolic jasmine note to this one as well. Long story short, I would describe this one as citrus, fruity, floral, and fresh. That's pretty much it. It's a very juicy style of fig that's more so juicy in the watery sense rather than it being jammy and sweet, with all of those florals kind of creating that delicacy as well found in fragrances like Lamar, but definitely going towards a completely different direction. Obviously, no resemblance in scent profile whatsoever, but just that delicacy that jasmine is typically known for anyways is absolutely found and present in this one. It's not indolic, it still retains its freshness, juicy, watery, fresh green, and woodsy, and that's pretty much it. As this one starts to dry down, some of the warmth develops from the note of benzoin and a very mild and slight naturalistic vanillic accord. I'm not gonna say that it has vanilla whatsoever, but what you end up with is the best freshie from Fico di Amalfi. It doesn't really remind me of any other fragrances that I have in my collection personally, but the fig tree and the fig note can be polarizing for some. It's just a very intensive green nuance that you're gonna get from this one. And to me, the fig tree note in this one smells like a green, leafy, wet twig, basically. Like that's the nuance I get. It's very specific, but that's why I say that you should probably get your nose on this one first. But even then, I still think it's the best one from Acqua di Parma. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Fragrance you can wear every single day. My name is Neeb. Thank you for tuning back in AROMATIX, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.